Thank you so much for joining us today, guys. I am so excited to have Joel Brown here with us today. He is podcast expert of Addicted to Success and successful entrepreneur. He has millions of followers, connects with industry leaders, and I'm so happy to have you here today.
Thanks so much for having me, Lisa. Appreciate
Tell us
it.
a little bit about you.
A little bit about me. Yeah, okay. So started a website called addictedtosuccess.com 6 years ago. I run a podcast called the Addicted to Success podcast. So over the last 6 years, we've achieved 120 million views worldwide on the website and 1.4 million plays and downloads on the podcast. And I think there's a formula behind inspiration. People want to have faith. They want to have that there's something better for them out there. And so if there's one result that I could leave anybody with that goes to the website or that has a coaching session with me or is part of my mastermind group or listens to the podcast, it's that when they walk away, they're courageous. They feel courageous enough to follow their dreams. Because I remember how that felt the day that I was sitting in the room with Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street, and he challenged me on the spot and asked me, what am I good at? What do I love? And what solution am I bringing to the world? And when I could answer those questions, I found in between the answers of those three questions was the intersect. And that intersect is your purpose. And so that was the day 6 years ago I stepped into my purpose and I casted my 10-year vision. And it's funny, my friend last year asked me, Joel, you're 5.5 years into or 5 years into your 10-year vision. Where are you now? I hadn't really, I had casted and pushed my vision out. I keep pushing it out every year as I move forward. And I said, it's funny, man. I'm actually living in my 10-year vision right now. There's maybe just one or two things that I'm missing, but I'm pretty much everything else that we can check the box. And so that's the power of living in a vision. Your vision disciplines you. It chooses your friends for you. It teaches you what to say yes to and what to say no to. So yeah, that's my life right now. I'm living in it, and I get to meet incredible people like Tony Robbins, and interview Deepak Chopra and Tim Ferriss and Gary Vaynerchuk and Gabrielle Bernstein and a lot of incredible people. So it's a blessing for me, and it's a blessing for so many people that get to go there and to know what their next move is after bringing in all that good content that we put out. So
I think that's amazing. I love that story. And what I love about it is that you really didn't know exactly what you wanted to do prior to that day. You met the Wolf on Wall Street and he assigned you that task. And prior to that, goals probably seemed like some mundane thing. But you seemed like you were able to develop clarity around what you wanted.
Yes. Yeah. Clarity is key. Right? It lifts the fog so then you can see further down the path.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's you got to connect the dots. It's got to make sense for you to move forward. Otherwise, if there's that uncertainty is good when you know that there's that vision that's pulling you into it. But sometimes you need just a few more little reference points for you to then make up a decision on whether or not that's something that you want to go to move forward to. And so that was the day. It was the icing on the cake. And it was all right, I'm ready. Let's do it.
I love that. And so then you knew you admired some people like Tony Robbins, Tim Ferriss, Brian Tracy, and some of the leaders. But, at that point, you didn't have any formal knowledge of how to develop this empire that you've built. Right. So what were your next few steps? If someone were listening to this, how would they go to repeat your action steps?
Yeah. What I did after that day was I decided I'm going to set up a website and set up a community where I can connect with other entrepreneurs and people that are like-minded that are also looking for self-development. Because just remember, around that time, I remember looking up on Google, typing in picture quote, and it would have these really bad looking images with word art on it. It was that was 6.5 years ago. So no one was really putting a lot of those good designed picture quotes out and deep, meaningful memes and things like that. It was just very surface and kind of corny and amateur. So that was the first space I stepped in. I stepped into that. I was putting out a lot of things around millionaires and billionaires. I made a lot of it about money, to be honest. It was because that's where my head was at the time. I wanted to make enough money to leave my day job. And I think that it's not a bad thing to let that motivate you. Like, money was my motivation. But a year and a half into me making enough money, I actually jumped to another job. And this is a little bit crazy. I left the sales job and took on a job for, I think it was about 7 months, 8 months, working up north in the desert in Western Australia, catching snakes and lizards. So I was a snake wrangler.
I do not like that.
Yeah. So, you know, I did that, and I did that because it was really good money. It was more money than the sales job that I was in. But it nearly sucked the life out of me. I was around negative people all the time. I remember just jumping in the car and listening to Tony Robbins tapes and, you know, T. Harv Eker and Grant Cardone and, you know, all these people, just to really feed my mind with positivity and hope. So, you know, I was in that, and that became my driver too. You know, I got to the point where I was like, I need to really step it up. It made me step up financially in my own mind of like, okay, I'm making more money now, but I still don't like my job. So how do I make more? Well, I was doing 12-hour days, back to back, 28 days straight in the desert, right? 130 degree Fahrenheit days sometimes, which is steaming hot. Like for Aussies or anybody else that goes by the other Celsius system, that's like 46, 47, 48 degrees. It's really hot. So, you know, I'd finish that shift and then I'd go back to my room, have dinner, and then just stay up for another 4 or 5 hours and just create content for the website, you know, because I want to drive more traffic to make money from publishing ads online. So yeah, that was definitely a driver. It was this thing where, like, if I was to look back at it, it just felt like, wow, I was like superhuman. I did whatever it took to be able to get out of that place. And then I realized the day that I quit my day job, when I went in and told my pain in the ass boss, it's costing me too much to be here. I have this business and it's like overtaking the income, was a day that I just felt freedom. You know, I felt free. Like, and that feeling I want for everybody else. I want everyone to feel that feeling, that classic feeling of freedom, that now it's like, wow, I can do anything.
Yeah, I think that everyone watching this wants that freedom. And it may seem like really a struggle, especially if it's a side hustle right now. And so you went through that time. How did you monetize it in the beginning? Like, if you were just starting out, like, did you have a product or service, or did you do network marketing?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I started out with publishing ads. So I went through Google. They have a program called AdSense. So you just apply. Pretty much anybody can get it. If you've got some traffic, if you could even have like 10 people a day and they'd still approve it, right? As long as your site's laid out well. They approve it, they give you the code, and then you implement the code on your website, and then your banners start showing up. You see the boxes and the banners and all that. So I did that, and, you know, I'd make $1 a day, $2 a day, $5 a day, 10, and it was like enough money for me to buy. Or at the time, I never take this stuff now, like Red Bull. You know, I used to get a Red Bull, and then after that was a Red Bull and a Subway, and then it was a Red Bull, Subway, and enough gas money, you know, for my car, and then it was rent money, and then it was like I could pay for my cell phone bill and everything else. So I just kept making more and more money to the point where I started to become more and more free, financially free in a way. So yeah, that was a cool experience to be a part of that and to do that. And we still make money from publishing ads, but that's just one revenue stream now. You know, as you grow with your business, as you grow as an individual, as you learn more, you're open to learning new ways to you know, open the floodgates for your business. So for me, I wrote an ebook. I had so many people asking me, how do you create a website and make money from it? So I wrote an ebook called The Formula, and I wrote it because I was in India and I was living down near the beach out there for like about a month and a half, and a coconut tree fell on the power line and wiped out the internet for a whole week. As you could imagine, I was running the website and I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And I was like really far away from anything. I'd have to catch a tuk-tuk for quite a while to get into town. So I was like, oh man. So I sat down and I took that time, instead of getting angry and cut and, you know, like worried about about the business, I was like, you know what, this is meant to happen, and I'm going to sit here for this week and write an ebook. And I actually wrote one in like 2 days.
Wow.
Then I got to convert it into an actual downloadable PDF, put it up on the website on the side banner, and make money. Still to this day, you make money from that book. It's like $19.95 a pop, and we sell like about 1,000 of them, about 1,000 a year, somewhere between 800 to 1,000 a year. Still, which is crazy because I wrote that like 4 years ago.
That's awesome.
So there's like affiliate deals. So if I'm ever part of a program which I feel is life changing, and I really support it and believe in it, and I'm getting results, then I'll share that to my mailing list, and I'll get a percentage, right? Mm-hmm. So there's that. Speaking, coaching. I have one-off products that I sell. I have a mastermind group, which I'm really excited about right now. It's called the Circle of Influence. And I've had people like Gary Vaynerchuk, Tai Lopez, Gabrielle Bernstein, Peter Voog, Alexi Panos, a lot of incredible people in it. And I just like every month I bring in a new expert. Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm like the bridge. So the members that are in it, they get to be on the call and ask these experts the questions. People that they never would have been able to actually get in contact with. So I like to be able to bring people together. Mm-hmm. And we do live group coaching calls, Q&As. People can ask me all about how to set up their business online, how to build their brand. We do book breakdowns, book takeaways, and we have accelerator modules where we teach people everything from like setting up podcasts, how to use Photoshop, Facebook ads, sales and conversions, mailing lists, things like that, right? So as you can see, as I've grown, as the business has grown, so have the revenue streams too. So it turns it into a multiple six-figure business every year.
That is, it's such a mindset shift, I think, to go from where you came from, just wanting to quit the primary job, to having this be the primary income stream. So just take me through like some of the mindset shifts of your own expansion of like, where it was just like, oh, I just want to make enough to be able to quit versus I really want to expand making a difference, or that shift.
Yeah. You know what's funny, because I haven't really thought too much about it, but you're challenging my thought, and I'm thinking right now, I did have a lot of resistance, to be honest. Like as much as I was excited to be making money and having the freedom, I think more so in the beginning I was ignorant, so I was just like going for it. Mm-hmm. And then when things started to get real and the money was coming in, and then it was like, it's not so much on like just doing work and then it happens. It's more like I have to be responsible now, like really responsible. When you run your own business, your business can only grow to the extent that you do. Mm-hmm. And so I had to continually learn. I had to really dive deep. Even now, like every day I'm learning something that has to do with the online space. Like every morning I read things on branding and marketing, and I listen to self-development podcasts and interviews and watch self-development videos. I think one of the biggest things that kills anybody's potential is pride. Mm-hmm. Pride will kill your potential. You've got to have an open mind and know that like this is a continuous journey, right? Mm-hmm. Until the day you die. Like that's just how it is. So for me, it was really growing into the understanding of like, this is all on me now. When you're working for an employer, they pay your taxes. Like you see it. It's like, oh, this much went out for tax and this happened. So now it's like, oh, I have to handle my taxes. And then you realize how much you need to make. And then you have to start thinking about your budget. And then especially when you start hiring people, you got to get your head around that part too. Mm-hmm. So for about 3 years of running Addicted to Success, even though I was running it from the standpoint of it being a freedom business, where it was me, I was like a one-man band traveling around the world, working from anywhere, which is like, yeah, that happens. But it gets to the point where you hit a ceiling if you're trying to do it all yourself. And so I had this Superman complex thinking, oh, I've built Addicted to Success in this way. It's really successful. It's perfect. And, the way that I create the pictures is perfect. The way that I write the articles and the way that I edit is like perfect. I don't want anybody to stuff that up. So this perfectionism and this Superman complex that no one can do it as good as me. Yeah. I actually ended up I brought in an intern and she was incredible. She ended up getting her boyfriend to step in. She was like halfway between another job. So she ended up having to take that job. And then he came in and started working. He still works for me to this day. He knows the inside out of the business, and he's incredible. And I'm just so happy that I took that leap and put trust in working with somebody else. And now we have, a team of 4 other people that work with me, and we're going to keep expanding now. We're opening it up for contributors to contribute and have logins for Addicted to Success. So yeah, it's all expanding, and I think you got to kind of let that go and go. It's not about just me running the business. It's like, let's get people in, let's get the talent in, let's get people in that have strengths where I have weaknesses to balance this out so that we can grow. So there's a lot I've had to learn over the years. That even hanging around multimillionaires, hanging around people that are pretty close to becoming billionaires, and just hearing the way that they talk, they just think so. I'm like, man, they think so big. If you hang around that long enough, it stretches your mind too. When I hear about the opportunity, sometimes I meet people and they're just like your everyday person, and then they tell me about a system they use, especially in the online space, and I'm sitting there going, damn, I can do that too. I know how to do that. I'm just not doing it. And it's like, man, there's like so much on the table. Like right now, there's so much on the table for everyone.
Yeah.
I think that there's like only enough for the people at the top. It's bullshit. Honestly, it's like there's so much on the table. And when you look at life as well as a whole, like people love to complain and make excuses. It's like the cards are so stacked in our favor. It's ridiculous. They're so stacked in our favor. So like every day I wake up with that gratitude and just run into the business with like, I'm ready to grow and expand my mindset, challenge me financially, mentally, physically, whatever you have to do for me to grow.
I think that's awesome, because a lot of people, when they get to that place of, okay, now I can quit my job and I'm expanding my business, and maybe I have to stick my pinky toe in the water of hiring someone to help. They could get just stuck at that area and not be expansive. Like in order to get to some of the places that, the people that you admire have gotten to, Grant Cardone, different leaders who are at that 8-figure mark or headed towards billion, they've had to outsource now to many of all those things, and expansion is not available to them unless they do that, because it takes now like an entire team to run this animal. Like it can't be just theirs anymore.
Yeah. For sure. And this is the thing too. I know that you're in network marketing, right? I actually was a part of a network marketing company for a bit, and I love network marketing. I actually believe it's an incredible vehicle, right? It's a great vehicle for anybody that is looking at getting their feet wet when it comes to learning how to communicate in business and how to build teams, how to be a leader, right? You can't have a successful network marketing business if you don't learn leadership skills that are required, right?
It is
so
required.
I love that. And I think that, at the end of the day, you've got to surround yourself with the people that are going to level you up. You also need to practice being a leader yourself. If you want to take on an industry, if you want to be in the top 10%, it's finding the people that are, I always say like reach up, reach out, and reach down, right? And so reach up is like the people that were there before you, they paved the way, right? I have a lot of respect for your Tony Robbins and Jack Canfield and Louise Hay and, all these incredible older, I call them like legacy leaders, right?
Yes.
A lot of them are going to leave an immortal impact. When they're gone, people are still going to talk about, and their names are going to ring bells for centuries, essentially, or even like, decades. And then you have the people that are on your level, right? So for me, that's like your Preston Smiles, Alexi Panos, Peter Kelly, like Javon Langford. There's a number of other people too. The list goes on. And then you have people that are like not below, but like that are in the earlier stages of like when I was starting out. I just see them, and I see them now, and it's like I hear the questions they ask, and I'm like just so excited for them, because I was like, man, I hope you understand that I was there like 5 years ago, but you can fast track this. You can cut the curve in half, because you can learn from people like me.
I think that is what this whole podcast and, TV is about. It's like I ended up for my own brand, studying marketing from Frank Kern and Ryan Lee and all these leaders in the marketing space. And it took me about 4 years to learn all the skills that I ended up learning. But it's like, can my long journey be someone's short journey? I hope so, And same thing with you. Like, you ended up, deciding one day to do something, created a 10-year vision. You're living in that now. And, it's manifested, I'm sure, into something that you couldn't even have imagined.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's funny because yes and no, like I was so intentional about achieving the things that I had said in my 10-year vision that it was like I almost saw it before it came. But when it got there, it wasn't exactly what I saw beforehand. Do you know what I mean? Like I saw it in my mind and I was like speaking the language of it and I was imagining that I was there and visualizing it every day, and the decisions I made in my business and who I was hanging around and how I'd execute was all leading to those things in my 10-year vision. But once I got there, it looked a little bit different. It felt a little bit different to what I expected, which is fine and which is okay, because I think that's the awesomeness of life, is that we're constantly surprised if we're open to the idea of not being attached to it having to be a certain way that we think it should be. So that's been part of my growth and my spiritual growth too, is just like not being attached to it fully. And you've got to find that balance of like, how can I be so intentional, but not get upset when I get there and it doesn't look or feel like what I thought it would, and be okay with the idea of like, I'm here and this is what it actually is to be in it. And okay, I'm ready for the next space, or I can be grateful for where I'm at and, I'm ready to go. So yeah, it's an awesome journey. Like, if you're on it right now, just enjoy every step. Like, don't wait to get to the top of the mountain to enjoy it, because the view's just as good all the way up, right? Like, I remember walking up a mountain. I was in Santa Barbara and I just kept turning around and looking, and I was like, man, that looks epic. Look at that. To one of my friends, and he's like, yeah. It's awesome. We're taking some photos. And then we go up about another like 20 meters more. And then it's like, man, that looks amazing. We take some more photos. We get up another 20 meters. Oh my God, that looks amazing. But we just like loved it the whole way up. We enjoyed the view, and it just got better and better, but you've got to enjoy it while you're in it every step of the way. The good, the bad, you just got to know it's all part of the journey.
I think that's a great analogy for building your business, because if you picture, okay, I'm not going to be happy until, then you're going to be a miserable person then as well. It's not just that you're going to show up there and all of a sudden you're happy. It's like that you've enjoyed the ride, that you've grown as a person, and really looked at those moments where it was like picturesque, like, wow, I'm no longer where I started, and this view is beautiful too. I am intentional about where I'm going, but the whole view is amazing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's so
that's
true.
Great.
I think the thing about happiness, right? Being happy, there's I think it would be probably one of the only things, like love and happiness would have to be one of the only two things in life that doesn't need to be taught, though. It's already innate. It's in us, right? When we're born, it's just like we have that there, but then we, get the BS programming and everything else that comes with us, and the environment and parenting and, perspective, beliefs, everything like can shift that. And so really at the end of the day, I mean, even you look at like racism, that's taught. Racism itself is taught. It's like, you're not born racist. You taught that, right?
Right.
With happiness, you're born happy, and then you go through it all. And it's like, you're not taught to be unhappy, you're taught to be happy. You get to choose the whole way.
Right.
But then the key then is the practice. So it's like everyday practicing the happiness. And that's why I drum so hard on my clients and my students, is to like practice your gratitude. And I'm like, I know it sounds so cliche and everybody says it. I'm like, there's a reason why everybody says it. Like, you can't be in a state of love and hate at the same time. It just doesn't happen, right? When you, like, hate and fear and negativity and stress, like, it just doesn't happen when you're in gratitude. And so it's like constantly teaching your mind. It's like, okay, I get that there's this here, but come back here, right? Come back to the center, go for this. And I think that happiness is practiced. And the more you practice that in your business, like not complaining, like really practicing no complaints, it's huge. It changes the game for you. You're a happier person. People want to be around you. They want to connect with you. They want to help you build your business. And they come to you asking you, what can I do for you? Because you're just this like bundle of joy to be around.
I love that, and I think it's so important because it's easy to, pick a couple of the little negative things that might happen on the daily and just like be so focused on that. And
right.
We're choosing to either way. Like if you choose to be happy and just like really immerse yourself in the good things that happened, or if you choose to focus on the negative, either way, it's one or the other,
It's key. Well, one thing I just want to drop in on there too was I had a friend come to me a few months ago, and he was launching a product, and he was also going through some things in his life at that time. And I had conversations previously with him. He was choosing the negative quite a lot. And as a friend, I had to be real with him. I'm like, dude, you're like really choosing to focus on this in a negative way. Like, let's shift the perspective. So I worked with him, but he was still not in that space of like being happy and grateful.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, asking me like branding questions and marketing questions and presentation on camera. And I'm like, I really don't think you should go this route yet. I think you should wait, work on yourself first, because people don't buy what you do. They buy who you are. Same thing with network marketing. Same thing with entrepreneurship. Right? Same thing with you walking in the room and you don't know anybody. They buy who you are at the end of the day. They want to be into who you are. And so I said, it's really important for you to show up, and you can't fake this stuff. You got to put it into practice, is you actually being a happy person and a great person to be around. Because I said, it's going to show through the way you advertise yourself and you promote yourself. People aren't going to want to join your program.
Yeah, it's so true. It is so true. And let's expound upon that actually of, a relationship marketing business, whether it's your own brand or, the network marketing company. So I think it's important for people to brand themselves because people are, buying them, not the actual product, because there's a million makeup companies out there. There's a million shake companies out there and everything. But what differentiates is, makes the difference is us. So how does someone stand out amongst the many? How does somebody create the social media following that you did? You excelled at building relationships with people.
Yeah, there's a few things that I could cover in this one, because it's not just like one answer fits all kind of thing. I believe that there's a few things, and what it would be is, one of them is clarity. So people love when they see someone walk in a room and they just know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, there's just something about someone, don't you think? Like when you like see someone, you're like, man, that person knows exactly who they are.
Yeah.
They just own the freaking room. Like it doesn't matter what room they're in, they just own it. Mm-hmm. And that's because they have that 10-foot tall, bulletproof certainty about who they are and why they came here. So two of the questions, two of the most powerful questions in the world, if you can answer these, you're on a pretty good track. It's who am I and why am I here? Right? And that can change. It can change over time as you grow, as you go through new experiences and meet new people and so on. It might change, right? But like just answering that every day. If you get to the point where you can comfortably like, I'm this, I'm that, blah, blah, blah. Like for me, it's like I'm a lighthouse of hope. Like I love showing people a better way. Right? Why am I here? I'm here to make a difference. I'm here to move the needle. I'm here to inspire others to open their hearts and open their mind to live a life of greatness and to be able to share that with others, to create a ripple effect in this world, right? For people to not settle. So, and I just know that, right? Because I've practiced it over and over again. It's just like, I'm so clear on that. And so when I show up, when I speak on stage, I don't crap my pants because I get up and I just know that like, I'm here to do this and this is my message, right? With Addicted to Success, we're so clear on what it is that we do that it's like, it makes the brand magnetic, because Addicted to Success is attracting people that are relentless, that want to achieve their dreams, that don't want to give up, that never want to settle. It's like we convey that very clearly just through the logo or the word itself. So it's like, I just look at like my business, my brand, like my personal brand, who I am as an individual, and how can we really clarify what it is that we're here to do to make a difference. So that's the first thing that makes you magnetic. And the second thing is consistency, right? Nobody takes you seriously until they see you showing up every day. You want to talk about network marketing? Well, you look at somebody that's in network marketing and they reach out to a number of their friends. They say, hey, I've got this opportunity, change your life, or like the products are amazing, or whatever they say, right? And then some of their friends are resistant and go, no, not for me. Pyramid scheme or whatever they say. It's like, well, what's a pyramid scheme, right? And most people can't even answer that, right? Because it's old. It's like from the 1970s or 80s or whatever.
Right.
That doesn't exist anymore. But so like they have this resistance, right?
Yes.
And then what happens is they see you still doing that. You're still moving the product. You're still building your team. You're still getting out there. You're still talking about it and having these amazing perks, and you're building and you're turning into this leader. And they see that over a year, 2 years, 3 years. Then they start taking you seriously because they're like, oh, well, they really are investing in this thing and it's working for them. Maybe I should give it a go too. Right. So it's showing up every day, no matter what, right? Showing up no matter what people say to you or think about you, or no matter like where you are in your business. Everyone has to start somewhere. And so some people, they don't want to show up consistently because they're like, I have to be at this level until I can show up consistently. No, like get in it now, because one day you're going to be at that level. And that actually is determined on how constantly you show up. Because I put out this quote a long time ago that's like all over the net, and it says, success is a habit. More of what you do is more of who you become. Mm-hmm. Right? And so it's just every day, like those energy bolts of action, like getting in and being consistent. Mm-hmm. And another thing is your skills, right? So like that's the mastery. That's not dabbling in something. It's going all in and committing for a 10-year minimum. I was interviewing Tony Robbins, and I asked Tony, there's a lot of people out there that call themselves life coaches and, these experts. And he's like, yeah, it's funny. I was like, how do we stand apart in the industry? And he said to me, well, look, Joel, he said, in every industry, no matter whether it's like, health or medical or media or whatever it is, he said, there's always going to be some phonies in every industry. Mm-hmm. There's going to be people in there that are labeling themselves also. He's like, with the internet now, social media, we can call ourselves whatever we want. But he's like, what's really going to stand us apart is the test of time. And it's being in the industry for at least a 10-year minimum. And he said, the only way he said the biggest advantage in business you can ever have is truth. And the only way to gain truth is through experience. Mm-hmm. And so people see it. It's like they see that you've stuck in it long enough. They see that you're clear on what it is that you want to do. They see that you've sharpened the sword and you have those skills in your tool belt, right? Mm-hmm. Like they're the three. If I can narrow it down, that would be the three things: certainty, consistency, and mastery.
I think that's perfect, because all of those things are needed. You mentioned a ripple effect, and you can't create a ripple if there's stopping of movement. If you don't have that consistency, if you don't have that longevity even of that 10-year vision, like say if you decide to stick a pinky toe in the water in an opportunity, and you're like, well, I guess I'll see how it goes for a month or two, then that's really not going to create the results. It becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy of, see, I told you this stuff doesn't work, and it's only because there was like a half-hearted effort of like, oh, I guess I'll try it for like 2 months. Like if you just like dive in and you're like, this is my space for 10 years, how would you treat it? Yeah, for sure. I mean, you got the 10-year vision, but you take it a year at a time and just go, I'm going to do this much this year, boom, 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 and chunk it down. That's what I would do. There's power in momentum. Mm-hmm. I think that a lot of people don't understand that, like, the beginning is going to be like that. It's going to take a while to get yourself on your feet. Actually, to be honest, the beginning is probably one of the hardest points in your business journey, the beginning. And then you're going to meet somewhere in the middle. It's going to challenge you again for more growth, for a big expansion. And then, who knows when the end is, right? But I would just say like the beginning and the middle. So just know that, like, it should be common knowledge, if you're ready for entrepreneurship, just make it common knowledge for you that the beginning isn't going to be easy. The middle is probably going to throw some curveball, but like it's there for you to grow and to level up. I think that a lot of people aren't willing to be patient.
You know, when I turn around and look back at the last 6 years, I put in so much work and I made so many sacrifices that, like, as I'm in it, I'm not really understanding it. But when I look back at it, I'm like, of course I am where I am now. And of course I can be grateful for these things because I know that I actually work for it.
Right. You know, I think it's easy for people to see someone successful and they're like, you know, I see this dude's pictures and it looks like he's working from anywhere with a laptop and some turquoise water. And they're not really seeing the times that you spent 4 to 6 hours on your hustle on the side job after you worked a side job to be able to create just the beginning of a platform that would host millions.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so Gary Vaynerchuk and I were having a conversation about that. And he was just like, man, document that. Like if you're like going to your day job and at least like in a way document, if you've got like a shitty car, you don't have this like Rolls Royce, document that. It's like, be real. It's like people actually want to see the real.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes I show people on my Insta stories and that I'm like, hey, check this out. Like this is an old school car that I like still drive that I have back here in Australia. I haven't got a new one, you know, like just like people laugh for that stuff. They're like, that's so awesome. I love that you're real about that. And then, you know, yeah, I get to travel the world and everything, but I think more importantly, the action speaks louder than words. And I think also there are a lot of people online. Now I'm getting hammered with I can make you millions on Facebook ads and I can do this and I can do that. And really, when you look at these people, they're living in a garage, like somewhere like in a dinky little place, and they don't actually have that money, never seen that money. And they're just going and creating these things because they think that they can make money. It's like, you're going to make money based off you making money, but you haven't made that money. It's a thought in your mind. It's like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get it. And so I think people are, like I said, they're promoting what you do, not who you are. People are forgetting it's about like, people aren't going to join that course or be part of that program unless you have that magnetism to you. And one of the key components to that being magnetic, like I said, was consistency and mastery. And so, like Tony also said too, is just like, these people are going to flake. They're not going to last in the industry. There's the cream of the crop, the people that really put in the work. So I hope this message just gets out there for everyone, because I'm sick of like seeing like the BS life coaches. I'm a life coach. It's like, you know, I never label myself anything like that. I still don't label myself that. It's just, I like to share the knowledge that I have and work with people and get results. That's the thing. Results speak volumes.
People aren't looking
at like, how can I get people results anymore? They're like, how can I get money from this person? No. How can I give this person results first? And then, you know, if I get paid, that's awesome. It's a bonus. I want freaking testimonials up to my ears. I want people coming to me saying, Joel, this made a difference in my life, because that means I'm doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope this message gets out there to the people that are thinking of going and just promoting stuff for money. It's like, it's way more than that, man.
And people can see through that too. Like, I think that if you don't have the know, like, and trust factor, and you're not consistent with your message, and you're just throwing out ads, and it's just like, this is going to be amazing for you, spend $197 on this program, then that's really not about serving, you know, and creating a community of people.
Yeah. Let's talk about this, because I think this is interesting. So there's like a fine line, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've had conversations with people. So I've launched a lot of different programs over the years, and I've had this thing around, I don't want to present myself in a certain way because I don't want people to think that I'm just in it for the money, because I'm not. But the way you advertise yourself also could make it look like that, right?
Yes.
So there's that fine line of like, how do I present myself being, there's a big, like, everyone throws a word out there like authentic, right? Which is, I think at the end of the day, transparency is really the key. It's like, how transparent can you be with this, right? People can tell. That's the thing that you can know for sure, is that when you're on a camera, you know, look, I'm doing this for this reason. This is my why. This is why I started this. People can hear through the tone of your voice. They can see through your body, your posture, your physical posture. They can see the look in your eye if you're BSing or not. And so that's what I love right now about the internet, is that like, people are getting called out. They have to be on a video camera, essentially. People want to see video more often now because they want to see if someone's real or not, right?
Yeah, totally.
Having to step it up and really do that. So another thing is that a lot of the customers that I have for my programs that are low paying customers that pay like this on the like real entry level programs, usually they're the ones that are the biggest complainers, or they're the people that want money back. It's like, you want $1 back? If they come in like $1 trial to go into like a 30, I'm like, you want $1 back? Is that like, did you not take like thousands of hours of my knowledge and like all these videos, and then now you want your $1 back? Like, it's crazy.
Right.
But there's always going to be people out there like that. But with the circle of influence, it's 4,000 US, right? And the people in there, oh my God, they're all getting results. They're committed. They always show up for their calls. They never miss a call. They never complain. It's like always, we're always talking, communicating. They're my best students because they put a value on it. They know what it's worth, right? And so that's why, you've got to really work out what am I actually really worth?
Yeah.
In the sense, like how I can get people results, and know that sometimes you're going to be undercutting yourself if you're charging low amounts. I know in the beginning you can't go and charge a lot. I know that you got to work your way up, and that was the biggest journey. Was I've launched 4 programs to get to the point now where I'm at 4,000 US per person in some of my my mastermind group.
Right.
But I never used to be that. I was the $37 guy.
Right.
$37 is like, oh, amazing, but you just keep leveling up, and you think that you've cracked it, and then you launch something even bigger. You've got to keep growing and putting it out there and getting people results.
Right. And I think that there's a couple good points in that, but one of them that stands out is, if someone has skin in the game, like 4,000 US dollars, they're really going to be more committed. They know that their time is valuable, and they're going to take you more seriously. If they've made that investment, they're going to apply what you're teaching them. They're going to show up for the calls, if you have it monthly or weekly, and they're going to try to up level basically what you promised them in coming into that type of program. They're going to try to live up to that, and by showing up like that 100%, they're going to be able to be your next testimonial.
Yeah, I think something happens to you unconsciously when you financially stretch. I had a few people that were like, oh man, that's a lot. And so I put them on. I'm like, look, I know I can tell you really want this, and I'll help you. Like, we can put it on a payment plan and make it happen. But I'm like, I know the day that I had to put like 10 grand down for a program, or 20 grand or whatever for like some one-on-one coaching, like that was the day that I grew the most.
Yeah.
Because like financially stretches, like, I don't know how I'm going to make it into the next month. Like, this is, a few years ago, but I made it happen. And I proved to myself that like they always say, money is energy. And it's so true. It's like, it's input, output. Demands more from you. Okay, cool. I've got to put a little bit out. You've got to be responsible too. You've got to be smart. You've got to take, calculate a risk. But where there's a will, there's a way, right? Like, it's about being resourceful. So how bad do I actually want this? Oh, I really want this session, or I really want to be part of this program. I really believe it can help me with my next level, right? So it's like financially stretched. Go into that place where you've never gone before, and you never put that much money down for something like that, and place your bets on the table. Go all in. Double or nothing, right? Like, make it happen.
And looking at it too, like if someone was to invest $4K in your program, or $10K in another person, or $20K into other coaching, they have to look at it like, if they put that down, what's going to be the return on investment? If that person was able to get them another 6 figures that year, would it be worth it?
Yeah. They just made $96,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like 4K for 96,000. Yeah, that's definitely a win.
Yeah,
for sure. And sometimes people don't want that, right? Some people like really, I mean, everybody wants that, but like at some point they may want something else. So you've got to really find out, what are their values? What are their needs? Like, for me, I'm at the point where I like making money because I like feeding my business, and I like feeding the vision. I also like contributing too. I have a big purpose element that we're introducing into Addicted to Success right now, and it's exciting, because we're getting everybody involved in it. It's like we break a certain percentage away for them to be educated in our academy and all that. And I love that. I love that idea, and I love that we can do that. But I think that you've really got to work out like what really drives you and what really drives the people that you're around.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you can speak in the language of what they're really looking for, that's powerful communication.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just really work out like, what do your customers really want? What do your students really want? Ask them, what are your values? Like, what do you value most? Like, what could you write a book on? Like, what do you involve? Like, what do you invest most of your time in? What do you spend most of your money on? What do you love talking to other people about? Like, really get to know what they really love. And then you can work out, maybe that's going to be like the key driver in your conversations, key driver in your coaching, key driver in how you're going to get them results. So they say like, well, I really love my family. They're the number one priority, blah, blah, blah. So then when you speak with them, it's like, hey, look, if you're able to apply this and get this down, it means you're able to make enough money for this that you can take your family out every week to a nice restaurant.
Yeah.
Or you can pay for your daughter's, college fees or whatever, like you talk in that language and really help them to understand, oh yeah, right. So that becomes their driver, and they tie the goal to the values, and it becomes their compass.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So like, you got to find everybody's compass. What are their values? Like what lights them up, and then speaking the language of that. So
yeah, I love that. I think that is a good place to call it a day. I think it's so much value that you've given us over the past 45 minutes. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but if someone wanted to reach out to you, what would be the best way? If they wanted to follow you or listen to your podcast, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Yeah. I mean, I'm on Facebook. You just type in Joel Brown, you find me there. Just look
Mm-hmm.
for the guy with the mustache and the beard looking thing. So you see me on Facebook. Instagram and Twitter is at I am Joel Brown.
Mm-hmm.
And you can also go to iamjoelbrown.com. And then when you go to iamjoelbrown.com, there'll be like a little pop down thing, and you can opt in on the mailing list. And I keep everybody up to date on there. I send out podcast episodes and instructional videos on basically how I build $1 million brand with millions of views and millions of followers. And I just keep you up to date with like some of the hottest articles from Addicted to Success. That's a way to really stay in the world of what we're up to. So yeah, head over there and do that. And obviously, addictedtosuccess.com,
Mm-hmm.
which is the mothership of everything that we're doing. So check that out, and the podcast too.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Lisa. I love everything that you're doing too. I can see that you're sticking by those 3 things. You know who you are. You're consistent, and you're in it for the long game. You're here for mastery.
Yeah, it lights me up.
Yeah, beautiful.